Geezy, welcome to Hashtags and Headlines. It is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We weren't supposed to do this at this time. I was even thinking, we'll take a week off from the Hashtags and Headlines and we'll figure it out as far as like, hey, maybe we'll record something, then we'll release it later. Maybe we don't need to be live. We can do our own thing. I was trying to figure out the process for that. And the world just gave us too many hashtags and headlines in a matter of like hours because for those who are unaware, this is Tuesday night. It's trovo.live/Vleeties for those who are curious. Tuesday nights I will be live. I'm thinking 10 p.m. Eastern Standard, so not really. It's all up in the air still. Pretty sure 10 p.m. Eastern Standard because even just before you and I started right now, I mean, I was making baby formula. Like I was running around trying to take care of this baby. My 4-year-old's in bed and he doesn't want to go to bed yet. So this is a hard time because I don't get home until 6 or 7 sometimes on these days. So I have like 40 minutes to wrap all that shit up. So, where was I? Oh, so that means last night. Geezy, was the Monday Night Football game. Now, were you watching the game live with apparently the entire world?
No, I was not watching it live, but I got a group text from Evan, and it's like, "Holy shit, are you watching this right now?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I turned it on, and it was already. I think the ambulance was already off the field. It was the odd time where it's like a half hour after and the game's still temporarily suspended. Yeah. And the big news was like the coaches were on the phone outside the fucking locker.
Yeah.
Locker room. And I was like, Jesus. And then I had to go on YouTube to find the replay because they weren't replaying it. And I don't know why not, because it was a normal fucking hit. If anything, it was a little soft.
I wish I went to YouTube. I'm an idiot. I went to Twitter. And was depressed for the rest of the evening because Nathan Weller in our Discord, he was the one who kind of broke the news to me. Like, holy shit, are you watching this? I was watching Yellowstone. I totally forgot there was a Monday night game. Having Monday off, I just had no idea what was happening in my life anymore. So I like Raw was on, so I kind of had that on, and then I watched some Yellowstone, and I was like going to bed at like 8:45. And then the world just sort of suddenly froze because, this game was still in the first quarter. And as far as looking at the hit, I wanted to see it. Like RG3 was one of the people I saw on Twitter. Twitter's the worst, by the way. RG3 was on Twitter saying like, stop sharing the video. Think of the family. What if that was your son? Like all this stuff. It's like, dude, people have the right to see this footage, by the way. Like, this is on ESPN. Yeah. It's not like a murder or a rape. I mean, like, he collapsed. We still don't know what it is. That's now we're hearing like cardiac arrest. Like, that's what's also kind of eerie about this whole thing is like we heard that there was no brain activity. We heard he wasn't breathing on his own. Like, there's all these things, and there's so much. It's just vague. It seems like the details would have been pouring out. I had a friend at work say, he's fine, right? I was like, what? No, he's not. Like he was like, yeah, they were able to resuscitate him. He's fine. I was like, dude, he is.
There would be a lot more updates if he was alive and talking right now.
Yeah, he's definitely not fine. Like that was one thing.
He's in a fucking coma on a breathing tube right now.
He's in critical condition. He's under the care of a pulmonologist, I suppose. And people just don't know. There's so much like, I don't know. So I guess for those who don't know, and I'm assuming you all do, but Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills made a routine tackle, and it didn't look because everybody was saying like, "Oh no, T. Higgins like rammed into his chest," and I don't know, dude. I've like someone else shared like footage of guys getting lit up, and these guys don't go into cardiac arrest. Like there's this new. Oh well, somebody told me it was a vicious hit, so I'm just gonna tell everyone it's a vicious hit. But I watched the replay; it's not a vicious hit. And someone did bring up like the Kill Bill. Like it's almost that he gets hit in the chest and then stands up. And then like a second after he stands up, then he collapses. So Damar Hamlin makes a routine tackle, gets up to his feet, and then just literally collapsed. Like it was, when you watch it, it is, a lot of people are saying it's the scariest thing. Probably the CPR was terrifying to watch a human being in front of you, like not alive, getting CPR is probably.
I mean, I watched that downstairs in July. That was great.
It's pretty rough. So when you're seeing it, rough. When you're seeing it,
but like, you're thinking he hit him with the 5-point palm exploding heart technique.
That's exactly what happened. The Kill Bill circumstance here. Because I thought, I don't know, I don't mean to be this guy, but I've seen some pretty rough hits, and like I guess
way worse.
I guess we could bring the footage up for those who haven't seen it, but like there were people today, like that was kind of People were showing some graphic like hits in football. Like this is more than just a hit. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, was there a flag thrown?
yeah, no, it wasn't targeting. Like we watched on Antonio Brown not that many weeks ago get like murdered on this, like on the field by Vontaze Perfect. So
Oh, you mean on here? I was like, that's maybe like 36 months ago, I think.
So let me find, like, football is punishing. Like, a lot of people were sharing all kinds of stuff today. So I just thought it was fascinating that there's this new, I don't know, like, are people pretending that, like, we haven't seen some way more violent hits than what we saw last night? Last night wasn't the most intense hit we've ever seen. So,
it reminds me of Shazier. Like, Shazier's hit wasn't bad at all. It's just you get hit in the right fucking spot in the right way, and you're fucked.
And that's kind of what. So it's funny you bring up Shazier, because that was one of the people that I brought up was, you know, when he was paralyzed in the middle of a game, there was no doubts of like continuing, or there was no doubts they were going to like not continue play. You know, I know it's a different situation, but because people were like, how can they continue the game? And I just thought, well, they continued after Shazier was paralyzed, but I guess he was still able to like talk. You know, so he had some.
Well, I think too they assume like, oh, he got a bad stinger, like it'll clear up. Not like, I would say the one part that is bad is when the first doctor gets there. I finally saw it today.
You saw
when the first doctor gets there, you see his face like, get the fuck out of here! Like I need this shit.
Oh, so yeah, and you know he's probably going out there thinking it's some sort of head issue or not sure, and then yeah, he's because I mean I heard he was.
If you look close too, like when they're working on him, he's like his body is starting to seize up.
He's convulsing, right? Like, yeah, I saw some footage, and that's why Josh Allen was like, he had his mouth covered, he was freaking out. Like, that's why they couldn't continue. So that's what I was telling people at work today. Like, the 9 minutes of public CPR was traumatizing. There's no fucking way. Like the Shazier stuff, he's laying there, but at least they're talking to him, and they're sure
his arms are moving.
He has vitals. So that's usually pretty okay. They're not ripping his helmet off in pads and giving him CPR.
I mean, we literally saw somebody die.
Yeah. Like that's kind of what happened. Is there was. Let me see. Botrix didn't play for Nathan there. Let me re-sign in. So yeah, like him collapsing and then there's been other collapses. I feel like there's been other collapses, and it is like dehydration or head injuries and things like that. So there's a little bit less of a scuffle. And yeah, last night, you know, just watching him go down and the way that it was just so in public, you know, it was just so out there, the CPR and everything about that was insanely scary. So, Quigley just subscribed. Quigley, I'm wearing my North Face shirt. I found it, Geezy. It still fits. Like,
oh, wow.
It fits again, I should say. It didn't fit for a while. So I made it fit. I'm winning. I think my scale's broken, though, because like a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I've lost 40 pounds. And then I weighed myself today. It's like, did I gain 15 pounds in 2 weeks? A very strong chance.
Don't think so.
It could have happened.
Dude, bulking is going. It's going up.
It's bulking season,
we'll have to
baby.
see how it ends up in summer.
But look at these hits right here. Like, I mean, this whole compilation is dudes getting lit up. And yes, some shots.
Football is
boom. Every NFL player has a 4.1 chance per game of suffering an injury.
Put that shit on. Put that shit
Thank
on.
you, Cassidy, for the AB spell. We're still dancing like AB, even in the face of all the tragedy, really. That's really what it was last night. And look, all these hits to the chest. So people that are telling me, well, it's because he took a shot to the chest. How many, like, people who bench press take shots to the chest? Like, how is this
True.
any different? Like, it's so bizarre to me that we're just so quick to, no, we're good.
I mean, that's a good point. That makes me think I'm thankful I always do pause reps when I'm benching. But public service announcement, don't fucking bounce, dude.
Yeah, don't.
That's what from the ones they were saying where it's that thing where you get hit in the chest right at the right moment when your heart's beating, just fucks you up, and it's usually in other sports.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me, for sure.
Well, and we've all watched Cobra Kai. I mean, that was like the bullet, that fucking punch with your like tip of your knuckles right into the chest. I mean, Hawk just collapsed.
It is crazy to think like you say, we see these plays every week in every game, and it's never happened in our lifetime.
Yeah, that's
somebody drop dead on a football field.
And that's why, honestly, that's why I think all the conspiracies immediately started. So you can call them conspiracies. I just I don't know, look at it as Exhibit A. That's kind of what
data.
It's data.
It's a data point.
Because we're watching the hit right now on Trovo, and in slow motion, it doesn't look like much. And even in full speed, he actually is the one who brings down T. Higgins. So yeah, he does absorb the contact with his chest, but it doesn't. I mean, he still finishes the play. It is like the 5-second punch we were talking about. So I mean, immediately, and I know that this is what everybody didn't want to have. Immediately, I thought this was like a vaccine thing. I don't know why. It was just in my head. Everybody. But what I hated about Twitter, and Twitter being one of the worst things ever, is anyone that mentioned was he vaccinated?
Roasted.
They just got tore up. There was one guy, and I'm never going to be able to find these tweets that I was scrolling by. Some guy was getting called a faggot, and I'm thinking I thought we got rid of that word. And I thought we were all rising above. And one person who mentions that, I was vaccinated and I was sick for a month, blah, blah, blah. He got called a faggot by so many people. And I'm like, Jesus, the amount of bullying that you see the amount of bullying that you see just on Twitter was shocking. I don't know. It was just bizarre to me. So it bums me out because it really does. Twitter, people who go to Twitter for social interaction. Why would you? I opened the app for about 10 minutes last night, and I was angry by the time it was over. Because look, if it is a place to have conversation, that's the other thing. Is it a place to have a conversation, or is it a place to break news? Is it a place to yell at each other? What is it? And I went there because I know how the news works. It's going to take, if I watch ESPN, it's just going to be them showing the field and nothing's really happening. I know on Twitter, there's footage, there's people giving their opinion, there's all kinds of stuff that I'm assuming people are sharing different angles. Maybe there's fans at the game who saw the hit and have a different angle or something, or they have footage of people throwing up on the sidelines. There's all of these things that I'm expecting to get from Twitter. Good God, the amount of bullying on that website, Zach.
Dude, I'm the same. I signed up with Elon, and then I'm like, dude, I didn't even want to, because I hate that it shows you shit that you're not following.
Right.
That's the shit that I see Joe Biden's tweets all the fucking time, and I'm like, I don't want to see him, but I also don't want to take the time to have to go into all of these and fucking mute him and unfollow him, or not unfollow him because I don't even fucking follow Biden. I just see trending shit, and I don't need that. I'd rather see trending on Reddit than fucking Twitter.
Well, even our friends, David J. Harris Jr. is somebody that I follow on Instagram, and I was trying to find his page because he shared this post that I have on the screen right now by Uche, the Observant.
You got to read it because the video is frozen for everybody.
Oh, the video is frozen?
Yeah, I don't know. I have it on my phone and on my desktop, and it's one frame every 10 seconds.
Yeah, speeds look good. Speeds look good.
Malachi Black says fuck Skip Bayless. Malachi Black says fuck Skip Bayless.
I'll double it up.
Flamed last night.
Well, and that's another reason why Twitter's the worst. Because he threw his opinion out there. It says 0 is not set. What does that mean?
I do think though, people were a little fucking dramatic.
Oh sure. Oh yeah.
Ryan Clark. I love Ryan Clark, but him on with Scott Van Pelt after. He was crying at one point.
Well,
I don't know. It was a little. I get the and it goes to Skip. I get the sure, even canceling the game, yeah, for sure. And everybody's worried about this guy, but it's if you even fucking ask a question about what's gonna happen, because these are two of the best teams in the last week of the season, how the fuck are you gonna replay this? You gotta just absolutely fucking roast this guy and say, why are you even worried about that right now?
Yeah, that.
Fuck. I was wondering the same thing. I'm also wondering, I have fucking T. Higgins in my championship fantasy game this week. So what the fuck happens? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can also be worried about this guy who just died on the field at the same time.
Yeah, that's honestly, those are kind of my thoughts, was because you sent the message about fantasy, and I was like, I don't know. I thought they would play the game today. I thought that was going to be their next thing, Like,
no, they're fucking. It seems like they're not going to play for a month at this point.
and that was what we were talking about it at work. Like, what are they going to do? What are the plans?
I mean, Vleeties, Brittany Griner was in a prison fucking camp in the middle of nowhere in Russia. And they played the whole season.
They played the whole damn season. They did not let anything.
She was
stop
being
that.
tortured alive.
And I'm hitting the start stream again. Sorry for everybody watching live. I'm not sure. I mean, the speeds look good, so I'm hitting stream again.
Oh, there we go.
So we'll see what we
It
get.
looks like it's working.
Okay, but yeah. Like I just said, like we were talking about it at work, and because everyone was saying, let's just call it a tie. And I'm like, but that's not what a tie is. It's like a tie.
You're halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, you're halfway through the first quarter. One team is winning, by the way. So if I'm the Bengals, I'm like, I'm absolutely not taking a fucking tie. Like, really, it should. Like I said, just no contest. Just they get one less game than everybody else. That's just what happened, all right? Like if it was,
think about the fucking sports betting.
Oh, everybody was probably livid at the results of that. How many?
That's a big game, dude. There's probably a lot of money on that.
How many people had no contest as their selection? So real
10 billion to one. Game gets canceled.
The game just ends and doesn't get resumed.
Let me put $1 to win 10 million.
So I will read it for the podcasters. But Uche Nwari, the Observant, I believe that he was a player for the Jaguars. He said back in September of 2001. He said, okay, so let's get these vaccine mandates and vaccine passports up and running ASAP. We see children die daily from these unvaccinated selfishness, pregnant women at risk too. Protect life, mandate the vaccine, jail anyone who refuses, protect life. So that was back in September of 2021. January 2nd, which literally was yesterday, right? I mean, that's the same day. This is the same day of Damar Hamlin. Former Jaguars player Uche Nwari suddenly dies due to an apparent heart attack. So these two young men, both athletes, both vaccinated, die on the same day. So whenever like the people like me and like all the other people that are getting called faggot on Twitter last night, whenever we're like questioning just the efficacy of the vaccine, whenever we're questioning why we're all getting it, and then we see this news story, see what happened to Damar Hamlin. This is unsenseless. This is misinformation.
He hate me, says the Vax claims another victim.
But like that's what I like. How do you not even draw that line at all? Because my boss and I, we were talking about it, and that's kind of where my head was at. I know it sounds like a joke and it sounds like a conspiracy, but look at the fucking evidence. Two young, healthy, athletic men died same day. Like that's.
What are the stats before this though? Is what we need to know.
Are we not allowed to at least talk about it? Like that's always what's frustrating. Is like
that's the most frustrating thing. Now.
Yeah, let's just talk about it. And you know what else? You know what else annoys me? I was super like when this Twitter last night. I don't respond to anyone. I don't know why I'm on that website, but everybody that's like, leave it to conservatives to politicize the death of a young man or to politicize this traumatic event for a young man and his family. And all I can think is, what the fuck were y'all doing during Uvalde? Holy shit. I said it right here on hashtags and headlines. I said these people wouldn't even let the bodies get cold first. They were fucking so excited to get on their phones and be, I'm a social justice warrior. See, these kids are dead. We need gun violence now. Get rid of 2A. Like, they were so excited when those young kids were murdered. And then we get to tweet about gun
Black
violence.
says Vleeties liked my retweet and I felt special.
And for us now, hey, for people that are saying this vaccine's bad, look at these two young, healthy men who just passed away because, hey, look, they both had random cardiac events. Like both these young, like we've all been watching football for 100 years. The NFL 100 was like 4 years ago. And how many times has a 24-year-old just died on the field?
Died on the field? Not that I ever know of.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like it's just he collapsed and they gave him CPR. Like how many times has this happened in the NFL? So if we can say never, we can cancel out everything that's happened in the previous 100 years. What's happened in these last 3 or 4 years that's caused multiple athletes, not just the NFL. We've seen soccer players collapse on the field. And we're not even allowed to just speculate. It's all a conspiracy. Don't you dare say it. Cardiac arrest happens every fucking day, and we just don't see it ever. It's just never happened. Like, it scares me, Zach, that this is the world now where people are like, they just, hey, what's everyone on Twitter saying? I'm going to agree with all of that. Like, if you question it, it's okay if I call you a faggot or I call you the N-word, which was another thing that I saw. Core Yeshua, he always shares, like, he gets messages all the time because he's a black conservative. He gets messages hourly from people calling him the N-word. And it's just, it's bizarre. Like it, because even I'm bouncing all over the place. There was a church in San Marcos, California, where they like spray painted like "no safe space for fascists." So it's like we're allowed to like murder you and beat the shit out of you as long as we think you're a fascist, like which is the most fascist thing anyone's ever done. So like that's what's strange about this movement of woke culture and politicizing everything is if you're on the team, like as a conservative, I don't think I've ever done anything like that where it's like, hey, I believe in this. If you don't believe in it, I get to call you the most harmful hate speech word I can find. And that's just, it doesn't make sense. Can't we just have the conversation? That's all we're asking.
I think so, man. The other thing I thought that came up was fucking steroids too, because steroids fuck your heart up. So maybe it's a combination of both.
Boy, these guys are already all doing steroids and performance enhancers, and now we're adding in a COVID vaccine that was created in a rush to be able to.
Because we got vaxxed, didn't we?
I got one shot, and then I went back.
I got one shot.
I got one, and then I got another one 2 weeks later, and I've never gone back. And that was week 1 and week 3 of the 2021 NFL season. That's how I remember my COVID vaccine, because I remember it was week 1. I was drinking and eating Wingstop, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna head over to the old.
And you didn't even get your free
vaccine.
Bud Light either, huh?
I did not get a free Bud Light. I got my vax like a week after that ended. I didn't get anything for free for my vaccine. So I went
the vaccine for free.
And then I went back 2 weeks later, and I had no symptoms after dose number 2. But these people that continuously are getting these boosters, like I know people at work who've gotten the booster and been. I had a coworker who was 37. He's no longer my coworker. That doesn't mean he died. He just doesn't work there anymore.
I was like, whoa.
No, he didn't die. Okay, he just doesn't work there anymore. He got the booster, and he was out for like 3 days. He told me, "Do not get the fucking booster."
Is it the booster that's the problem?
The
one where they tried to update it?
I could be, yeah. Well,
it's a bad software update.
The guy from Pfizer was the one who was like, we're gonna what did he say? Like, we're gonna better these vaccines. It's like, why are we gonna better them? I thought they were good to go. Like I thought the science was figured out. This isn't supposed to be like an iPhone 1, iPhone 2 scenario. This is supposed to be, we got the medicine, baby. This is it. We're gonna end COVID. And he told me don't get it. He had a cough for the next like 3 months. He was miserable. And he just told me like it's that fucking booster. Like he would complain about chest pains, and he never had any of that stuff. He was a healthy 37-year-old once he got that first. So he was like me, 1 shot, 2 shot. Then after his 6 months, and they're like, come on back now, you hear? He got that 3rd shot, and that's what he said really fucked him up. And that's what I'm assuming all these NFL guys, I'm not sure if they're making them continuously update their vax cards, but I got the 2 jabs. I'm not getting any more.
I got the 1, and that was fucking enough for me, dude. That fucked me up.
Well, and even getting COVID.
But I will say, when I got COVID, I was sick for like 6 hours.
Yeah, I got COVID this year. I got COVID in June of this year, so my vax I'd missed my booster. I was supposed to get my booster in like.
Well, that was your booster.
I was supposed to get it in April or some shit, so I got COVID in June. And yeah, I missed some work, but I survived it. I never thought I was actually going to die. Like I tell people at work, like, oh my God, it was fucking miserable. I thought I was going to die. But I never actually thought that. I knew I was, I was like, oh, I'm just sick. And yeah, it sucked, but yeah, getting sick sucks a lot. So, yeah, I know that there's people out there that are like, you fucking scumbags, you pieces of shit. But I don't like, just hear us out, or at least give it some thought. Don't just immediately shut it down and not even hear some of the conversation. Like, I just want to have the conversation. Like, that's like when I was blaming Biden for gas prices, and people were telling me, well, no, the oil companies actually are raising prices. And they were showing me like, in that Keystone pipeline, those weren't even oil going to America. Those were oil sands. They're used for this. Like, I'm willing to hear people out. Let me hear what you have to say. But kind of like Joe Rogan says, like, don't silence me. Like, have a better argument. Come to the table with a little bit more than calling people the F word. That's what's bizarre to me. So there, in all of this, there was some stuff to add to the conspiracy, and this has been proven fake. But it made me laugh because people were like really taking this like.
Wait, what's been proven fake?
I'll bring it up right now. So there has been zero evidence that Dr. Benjamin Eidelman gave Damar Hamlin a COVID booster days before the collapse. So some doctor got on Twitter, which is another reason why Twitter is the most amazing website in the world. Some doctor got on Twitter and just like or some doctor, use air quotes, he got on and just like tweeted out like I administered, like Dr. Benjamin Eidelman. He said, I recently administered Damar Hamlin's COVID booster on 12/26, and as a medical professional, I can assure the public, he passed all screenings of flying colors. I am in contact with the UCMC staff.
Malachi Black says, how do people think it's perfectly normal for a 24-year-old athlete at the peak of his physical health to basically die on the field and it have nothing?
With no previous heart conditions, he's been screened multiple times, not just by this fake doctor, but like we've heard Colin Kaepernick talk about getting poked and prodded at the combine. Like these athletes are treated like cattle, damn it. And yeah, we're making sure they don't have heart conditions, they have physicals, like all of this stuff you figure might have been caught somewhere. But this doctor does tweet out, or this fake doctor, he tweets out that he administered the COVID vaccine. And I really enjoyed it because this went kind of viral. Like he deleted the tweet within a couple minutes, but the screenshot was going around. And like,
what fucking, like if he just completely made that up, what fucking possesses you to post that?
I don't know, but it made
like to just make that up out of nowhere.
Yeah, like, well, and even this account. So, I mean, to get deeper on the conspiracy, the account was created in like December of last year, like 2 weeks ago. This account was created. Like somebody created their fake
it's a
doctor
Russian
account.
troll farm, dude.
So here's what Snopes had to say. So first, the tweet provided 0 sources, which for them is like, come on. If I'm just tweeting something out, do I need to put like source Sean Ross Sapp, Denise Salcido? Like, no, you just tweet your shit out. He's the source. He's the doctor. Is he supposed to put up like, here's a picture of us? Second, the official medical information of Hamlin's condition that was released by the bill said nothing about COVID-19 or any vaccines at all. Another, like, hey, they didn't say it, so we can't even guess that, okay? It's despicable if you even assume that. But really, this is where it got awesome. Third, and perhaps the most glaring, the Twitter account was brand new.
Wait, I got an update.
Oh, is he alive still? What do they got?
You remember
He's
when
still
we
alive.
super kicked
Rumbly
you in the
Rocket's
face?
now following us.
But I'm looking for updates on the New York Post 2 hours ago.
I think
His
I had.
uncle told some dude who reported it. Originally, he was.
He hate me says
on
your eyes are
100%
deceiving you.
auction.
Don't let a million different coincidences catch your attention.
Yeah, how did they not? So he's on oxygen.
Said originally he was on 100% oxygen, and now it's down to 50%.
Oh, so he's coming back.
I don't know what the fuck that means, though.
How does that? Yeah, what does that mean? This is
So
like
you're a half on a breathing machine and half not.
it's like a fan. You can be on you can be on 3 speed or 2. So the first known activity of this Twitter account was December 17th. So it was 2 weeks old by the time the tweet made the rounds. And then my favorite is, we found only one person online with the name Dr. Benjamin Eidelman. And he was listed as a neurologist in Jacksonville, Florida, and is a much older looking gentleman than the person pictured in the Twitter profile. So you'd also have to think like, this guy's from, he plays for the Buffalo Bills. You're assuming he's living there, right? And getting his vaccine there. Or why? Because a neurologist isn't the one like somebody who does brain trauma. They're not the ones giving out COVID vaccines, unless
Anybody can give out a COVID vaccine.
I have heard that there's teachers that give it out to their students. So I mean, who knows what's going on in this world? So, but I just like how far this got. Like, oh, like Snopes had to release 4 points on why this doctor wasn't real, and like. Yeah, great point by you. Somebody created this account 2 weeks ago, and they were waiting for like their one moment. Like, I made a fake doctor. I made a fake doctor Twitter profile. What's the first thing I'm gonna do? And this was it, baby. I'm going viral as the fake doctor who gave booster shots to players.
And that's why I don't get how the fucking algorithm works.
We got a hydration spell from my main man Rizzo. Rizzo, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Because Vleeties, how do we have a 2-week-old Twitter and go viral like that? Like how? What's the code? Are we living in the Matrix? We haven't broken out yet. We just don't get it.
Well, and I'm sure people
That's
like
what Andrew Tate says.
people like this doctor or people like Skip Bayless. Those are kind of the people that know how to work that system. Because Skip Bayless, I mean, we talk about being under fire here. Like, that was amazing what he decided to do last night. I was shocked. Because if you are Skip Bayless, like another hydrate from He Hate Me. I got the big Yeti. I gotta unscrew the top of it. So Skip Bayless, Geezy, he's also in hot water. over his controversial tweet, which he did try to backtrack on. And I guess like people at work were talking about it. Like obviously everybody when they're at the height of their emotion, they're definitely not willing to like hear this guy out. Like we were all so ready to fucking trample this guy. Like how dare you, Skip? So athletes call for Skip Bayless to be fired after a sick Damar Hamlin tweet. Like you saw this when it was happening, right? You were watching it today.
Sick burn, bro.
You watched this today? Wasn't he on Undisputed, like apologizing?
He's on Undisputed by himself. Shannon, I don't know if Shannon was scheduled off or he left him out to fucking dry. I don't know, but he clearly did not sleep last night. It was very clear he didn't sleep last night. What bothered me the most was he was crying and he was so upset like the players that he said, I didn't even know if we were going to do the show today. Like I was so shooken up. And then it took him about 15 minutes after he described everything that happened where he's like, and then I sent a tweet and the president of Fox texted me because I don't look at my Twitter replies and was like, hey, your tweet is getting a lot of attention. You should probably clarify what you were trying to say. But never did he say, like, I'm sorry it sounded this way. He just was like, it's not what I meant at all. Clearly, I meant I was worried about his safety first. I was just trying to ask, like, what was going to happen next, like we did. But he did. I don't know. It didn't go over well for me. It was like, you're way overplaying the crying and being affected by this. And way underplaying, just saying, I'm sorry, it didn't sound the way I meant.
It didn't come out the way I wanted. Yeah, he did the Liver King apology. Like he's crying like 4,000 people a day commit suicide. 81,000 try. Like he had all these like he was really like crying and talking about like, you know, I'm part of this too. Okay? Don't think that I'm not part of this. I'm
trying to help people, okay?
I'm definitely part of this. So NFL players, NBA players, retired pro athletes, burn Terrell Owens. Jesus, can you just call him an NFL player? You have to say retired pro athlete. He was in the NFL too. They're asking that he be fired for his comments in the aftermath of Damar Hamlin suffering cardiac arrest. So his tweet, I mean, even when you read it the way they break it up right here, it says, no doubt NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game. And then hyphen, but how? Question mark. Like that, even there, like you're already moving on from like, what's happening, you're already kind of thinking about the NFL this season, which you mentioned, like you were thinking that too. All of us kind of are like, oh shit, like we're next week is it.
Yeah, Lockeye Black says call him Hall of Famer Terrell Owens.
That's true. Is he in the Hall of Fame yet? He's in the Hall of Fame.
I think.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
He accepted it at his own like high school.
That's true. Yeah, he didn't do
the
the gold jacket thing. He wanted to do.
But
something.
read the last after the ...
Well, so he says. So let's read the whole tweet. It says, no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. Which that's his. He was saying like that's what he was trying to say. Like all of this seems
like none of this shit matters.
And I think from the readers, from the Terrell Owenses of the world, he was kind of everyone's looking at that like, who the fuck cares anyway? Like, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. Like, oh, are you mad that we think it's irrelevant now? Like, that's how I think me and Terrell Owens read it. But he was getting roasted. I mean, he was getting lit up, and I wasn't sure.
Flamed.
And we were talking about it at work. I was saying I don't even think he writes his own tweets. Like, I think that Fox has like they have like an AI that figures out what's the most outlandish thing this AI could say right now. And ... which suddenly seems so irrelevant. And then he posts like a gif of like Alan from The Hangover or something. Like it was such a bizarre tweet, bizarre reaction from people, bizarre apology. Here we are, like Damar Hamlin. Everyone's like mourning, like he's passed away. My coworker thinks he's alive and well. Thinks he's gonna play on Sunday. Like it's bizarre, and all of it is just the whole thing is like you can't make this shit up.
I'm trying to think back when Shazier did get fucked up. How long was it before they're like, oh no, he's permanently paralyzed and came out with it? Because I could have, in my head thinking back, I remember it was similar to this where like there weren't much details for a while until they could figure out how they want to report it.
Yeah, well,
because like if he's on a breathing machine, he's going to have some kind of brain damage.
But don't they also? Because the way they did it, didn't they also like? Did he do the thumbs up? I don't even remember how it all happened because
Shazier?
yeah, did he? Like, I guess I
think
pull,
he did.
I guess I could pull the video, but because I remember that hit. And I guess we could watch it, but yeah, like I remember that hit, and I don't want to watch
The Monday Night Football match.
No, I don't want to hear Strahan talk about it. The Monday Night Football. Like, no one gives a shit, Strahan. But during that hit, because in December 2017, he suffered a spinal cord injury that paralyzed him. He went to make a tackle on Josh Malone. He grabbed his lower back, and that was kind of weird. Like he was still moving a little bit. Like the pain was in his lower back, and then he just
Put that shit on. Put that shit on.
the AB spell from J.R. Ramrod. Thank you so much, J.R. Ramrod.
But you could tell instantly that his legs flopped over.
Oh yeah, he just it
was
was a bad
no
injury,
muscle
but
there.
maybe it was him like pointing at his back. Maybe there was enough there to where people were thinking, well, he was able to do that, so he's good. Like he wasn't convulsing or anything scary, like that.
Yeah.
But so Bayless appeared on Fox's sports show, a debate show Tuesday morning without his co-host. Bayless said he looks forward to seeing Sharp on Wednesday. Bayless' Monday night tweet drew immediate backlash from NFL players, including Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner, Des Bryant. Everyone fired back. Sauce tweeted, "Are you seriously talking about when the football game should be postponed? Damar Hamlin's health is all that matters at this moment. Nothing else!" Exclamation
That was
points.
the fucking tagline, dude. Everybody started saying that. I was starting to get annoyed.
all that matters.
Nothing matters except his health right now.
Everything. We need to cancel Real Skip Bayless ASAP, which I hate cancel culture, and I like the Des with his fucking Board Ape. What's that? Board Ape Yacht Club.
Probably one of the biggest Des Bryant supporters ever in the world.
Yeah, Skip Bayless. Oh, 100%.
Skip Bayless.
Yeah, fucking loves this guy. Are you seriously talking about the football game? We need to cancel Skip. And Isaiah Thomas, I hope they fire you, bro.
Just straight up.
For you to even think of the game is very sad. Like there are lots of people still thinking about the game. Let's not pretend that it was one guy in the world. Like
If I was there, I'd be
He hate
thinking
me
about the
says
game.
nothing matter except Gino not losing his Dash Mart job.
Gino better keep that Dash Mart job or DoorDash, whatever. Yeah, that's the Mart thing. Good for you, Gino. Keeping
Wait,
that
is that
job.
what he's doing now?
Yeah, you're sick.
I thought he was in a warehouse.
Well, that is the warehouse. It's Dash Mart. Like you place your order for groceries and Gino packs them for you. So whenever you get anything from DoorDash, you pay for overpriced groceries. You just imagine Gino packed them motherfuckers up for you. And yeah, T.O. tweeted, "I hope you lose your job. Someone gonna slap the shit out of you one of these days." So he did have to go on and clarify. Like he tried to make, no, clearly, like that's not exactly what I meant. But yeah, it's just the reaction to him.
Put that shit on.
The reaction was very, very scary. Or at least not very scary. It was very, very just. People were so ready to jump on Skip, and yeah, there's no way he meant to say like it didn't come out the way he wanted it to, obviously. But he's not the only one who's thinking those things. That's why I think it's also stupid to say, "How dare you think it was a vaccine? How dare you think of football? How dare you think of any of this
Malachi
shit?"
Black says Hupswi out to become watch YDWZLGXS2OT60S.
Whoa, was that? I don't even know what
It's a
happened.
YouTube link. It's a YouTube link. I was like, wait, is he speaking fucking African? What's happening?
Yeah, that was very bizarre. I didn't realize it would read the links. It doesn't even read numbers when you put numbers in there, but somebody puts.
But dude, I gotta follow Skip while I'm on his page, but nothing. Fuck, Twitter shows views now, not just everything else.
Yeah.
How many views do you think his tweet?
Oh, that's 20 million, right? How many million viewed? That's got to be.
Vleeties. 155 million.
That's the biggest tweet of all time. I've never heard a tweet like that. Like
Oh fuck.
everybody was sharing that shit. Everybody was quote tweeting him, hoping he was dead.
107,000 quotes, 82,000 retweets, 42.6 thousand likes.
Yeah. What is this? Oh,
Who's liking that tweet?
there's probably tons of people who liked it because I think a lot of people are on his side. Number one,
Dude, Twitter's the best. This doesn't happen anywhere other than Twitter.
what did okay, so
Twitter's the best. Dude.
our-
Just
our-
watch it burn.
our good friend Nathan Weller actually has the aforementioned video, that's the right use of that word, right? Aforementioned, like we talked about the Skip Bayless apology, and now up we have the Skip Bayless apology. The aforementioned apology from one Skip.
Pretty much as we usually do.
Okay, I think this is the whole one.
Is this it? Like he's in
I watched one of this, but it was like only 7 minutes long. I cut the end off, but I think this one's right.
But I'll admit up front, I'm still shook up by what happened last night to Damar Hamlin. In fact, I'm still wrecked. In fact, I'm not sure I'm capable of doing this show today. But after barely sleeping on it, I decided to give it a try.
Skip does not look
Maybe
good.
I'll fail. Maybe we will fail. But we're going to try. We wrestled through much of the night whether to even do a show.
Who's now? This is a manipulation tactic. Who's the we? Like, is it him and the guy who texted him? Like, is it his Fox president? Like, who are the? Because like, whenever somebody like, because
that guy said you better get your fucking ass on TV tomorrow.
Skip is the one who's in trouble here. So whenever it's like, we are going to do this, feel this, we that, that all comes off as very, very like this is so written like, hey, Skip, use we a lot. That way they don't think it was just you. Maybe I'm right. Maybe Skip doesn't tweet. Maybe it's some fucking robot and him and like his president and like 6 other writers. They're the ones that are actually in control of what he's tweeting and saying
today, because it felt like in our minds we almost can't win with this, because the last thing we want to try to do is come off as insensitive to what this young man is going through in a lot.
That's probably the ultimate point, right, Zach? You can't win with this anyway.
You remember when we super kicked you right in the face?
Thank you for the follow, Mike Glasses. That was kind of my point with reading Twitter was no matter what you said, there was nothing you can do to win unless you said, like, prayers up. Like, that was probably what I would have tweeted. I didn't tweet, though.
Prayers up. I think if you did nothing and you just canceled your show, I think that's not good.
Right.
But I agree, and I think you highlighting that maybe makes more sense to me why you didn't like break down and apologize, because that's not what you fucking do when they try and cancel you. You go on there, you tell them what you meant, and then you fucking say fuck off. That's what I meant.
Yeah, he definitely. Yeah, fuck you guys. I'm on my show, and look.
But do you really think he's this upset about this guy?
I don't know.
Is he this upset because he got 155 million views on Twitter,
dude?
And he's getting absolutely fucking shredded.
How many people are watching this clip? I mean, I'm on YouTube right now. It's got 956 likes, got 1.6 thousand dislikes. It was only posted 11 hours ago. Do we not get a view count on here? Like,
it's right next to it. Right next to it.
159,000. That's pretty good. That's a lot of views.
Life or death situation. The last thing we want to do is offend anyone by trying to do what we always do, which is talk about sports.
Yes.
As this show goes on, we're going to try to talk about a little bit of sports, but we're going to continue to talk about what happened to this young man.
What if he just went into like, let's just get it out of the way. Like, I don't know when the game is going to be played.
Oh, God.
I don't know when it's going to be scheduled. Okay, but this is what happened. That would have been so great.
T___ in the chat. He says, I thought YouTube stopped showing dislikes. There's a Chrome extension. Just get the extension.
I downloaded that too.
Yeah. And
you have to know, dude.
It's approximate, but it still pretty much works. Like they say it's approximate, but that's because all the White House videos have millions of dislikes. So they just say it's approximately that. We're not sure exactly. Approximately that.
Last night, and try to sort back through it with help from you and the audience.
When does he say it?
We asked. What I went through last night is I watched this unfold.
He's making this about himself a lot.
So you can go like probably 6 minutes. He just says like the time of what happened.
To Micah Hyde, which took place in the second game of the year, Damar Hamlin got his opportunity in the National Football League.
Just talking about how he got
this league. I've been writing about, commenting on this league for about 50 years.
That's true.
So I've been there and done all of that. I've seen it all. And trust me, I've never, ever seen anything like that happen. Before you knew it, an ambulance was on the field. Not
So
just
that
a
happens.
stretcher, not just a cart, an ambulance. That's when you knew this was different.
Pause.
Well, I was going to say
False.
T______ says we can just call him T.
Oh, T________. That's okay.
Yeah.
But I've seen an ambulance on the field. I never seen them do CPR on the fucking field. That's when we knew.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was really when I think that's what traumatized people was the CPR. Like, hey, there's a lifeless body just getting fucking pumped. Like, what is that called? Where do they push your fucking sternum? What is it called?
They break your sternum.
You have to
Push through it.
They have to push through the sternum and put air back in. That's fucking horrific. So, yeah, like we've seen ambulances on the field for other injuries. Didn't I even want to say Shazier had to be put in an ambulance and driven off. Like it's not the prettiest sight, but we've seen an ambulance. It was that 9 minutes of public CPR. That's horrific. Like even just thinking about that, like oh my god. Like I've never watched anyone get CPR, so yeah, I can't imagine.
It's rough.
I got my North Face shirt on.
I still see it every once in a while, ladies. It's rough.
Well, you work at a place. I think it's a little more higher traffic.
No, it was in my fucking bathroom.
Doesn't sound good. I did see
It's
someone.
rough.
I did see somebody collapse at work, and that was a horrific experience. That was when I worked at FedEx, and some guy. We're all. This is a desk job, and we're all on our phones. And saw him in the bathroom, totally cool. Went back to our desk, and I sat like kind of across like a couple of desks from him, and he sat in like a higher chair, and he just collapsed. Like he was convulsing, and he was like, yeah, it was horrific. And everyone's like, call 911. And like our work phones don't dial 911, so like we learned that day. We have to use our
What?
we have to use our cell phones, like because the phones are hooked up to like an internet thing, and it can't track your location. So when you call from it was like it doesn't have a location thing, so you can't call 911. So we learned that day. But
I did go into work today, and I was like, we don't have an AED. We should buy one.
we should get one of these
Fuck.
now. Yeah, I don't even know if
He
we
hate
have
me
one.
says the snicka is trying to do CPR on his fucking career to resuscitate it.
Dude, we're talking about Skip Bayless here. Yeah, he's
Reportedly, CPR was immediately administered because he suffered cardiac arrest.
Kevin used to love
And
this
now
show.
his teammates, and pretty soon,
Oh, I used to too.
I never watch. I like the Talking Heads a little bit, but I don't like First Take. So that this is just First Take 2.0.
I mean, I was balls deep on First Take when Skip was still there, and then I was so hyped for Max Kellerman because I used to listen to Max and Marcellus on fucking LA ESPN.
I guess.
And then Max got on that show and became a social justice warrior in like week 1, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Well, and even
And I've never gone back.
I listen to so many podcasts, and I've been listening forever. So whenever I sit down to watch people just do a podcast, I kind of get bored. I'm like, okay, like this is fun to listen to in the background, but I can't sit there and watch guys with like fake notes say, Skip, this outfit's number 1 in the league. Like I just can't. I can watch a morning show like where Rich Eisen's sitting there and they're all picking games and shit. Like I don't know why I feel like that's different. But whenever I watch Skip and Shannon or Kellerman and Stephen A.
also the Bengals.
And maybe they make sense in this. Like, you know what I like inside the NBA with Shaq and Charles. I think they're pretty hilarious.
are gathered around looking into the face of a young man, age 24, who is
24.
literally fighting for his life.
And I think he posted a TikTok, and that's where I saw about the son. Like that made me so sad. Where he like talked about when he goes to a gas station, like here's what I would get, and he named like his favorite snacks, and he goes, plus I'd get such and such from my son. I was like, oh, he has a kid. He just seems like such a normal, nice guy. Why? Like, and that's really what is sad. He's just a 24-year-old. Like I remember when Sean Taylor died, I was like, that really was sad because this is a guy that he never had any issues with like violence, and he was, he's from a bad neighborhood, and the neighborhood ended up getting the best of him, and he was always known as like somebody who was really respectful, and he never was involved in any gangs or anything like that. And then just like a random home invasion is what led to his demise, which is bullshit. So you always feel bad when it's just like a nice guy like a Damar Hamlin who's raising money for what was he raising money for? Like a youth, like a daycare. He was trying to get some toys for a daycare in his hometown, and he's doing some good things with his fame. And yeah, I mean it is sad. So I understand, like for Skip to be sad, like you can still be sad and tweet some dumb shit. Like those aren't mutually exclusive. So I'm not saying he should have been fired. It looks like this is already kind of blowing over, and I even think the athletes that were tweeting at him and stuff like that, this is all going to go away because it was a misunderstanding, and that is why he had to make this 9-minute video.
Well, I mean, as you've seen, though, he hasn't really even addressed it at all.
That is true.
He's just talking about what happened.
We're 7 minutes in, and he's acting like this is the first thing we've ever heard about it. Let's see where he goes from here.
CPR.
That was kind of funny.
I don't want to speculate on what happened or why it happened or how it happened or what the situation was because I don't know. I had my thoughts, but I don't know. Nobody knows yet exactly what transpired,
Dude,
what caused that to happen.
Out.
But it happened. And those young men around that young man got shook way worse than I'm shook right now.
Yeah, because they were on the fucking field watching
And they were so shaken that they were unable to play football for the rest of that night, as you know. But this went on and on and on to the point where unprecedented turned into...
When do you
got his leg broken.
I fast forwarded and I still don't know where we're at.
Taylor. Compound fracture.
Oh, he's just talking about Joe Theismann.
It was horrific.
His friends.
And the game stopped for a while.
But it wasn't that bad.
The show must go on, and that was always the NFL's attitude: is next man up. The show must go on.
Dude, it's already got the next video available.
Maybe we've had an awakening here because.
Why are they calling it an apology video? He didn't apologize.
See? And that's on their channel. So I don't get why they cut it off like that.
Dude,
there is one that goes longer that talks about his tweet.
Like, the last thing we want to do is offend anyone. Skip Bayless, who has made the last 15 years of his career about nothing but being offensive. I'm sorry for the tweet. I shouldn't have tweeted it at all. My words have been misconstrued. However, I now understand in that moment I should not have tweeted. My prayers are with the family. Literally, all he had to say. Like, yeah, that was such a lengthy... Like, I must have missed it. I missed it, dude. Because even, here's another comment. Like, it's so cringe watching him talk. If he's so shook, he wouldn't have made that dumb tweet in the first place. I don't know about that. You like I said, you can make a dumb tweet. There's no problem. There's no way the title has to apologize for Skip when in the video he doesn't apologize once for the tweet. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't see anything like, and Kevin in the chat, all caps, why should he? But I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying, like, you don't title the video apology and then there's no apology. There was none.
There, check out the video I sent where he talks. It starts at like 2 minutes after that video ended.
Yeah, there was like, don't title that video. Like, we watched the
Fox called and said, hey, people are really reacting strongly to your tweet. Maybe you should clarify, which I immediately did. But my first tweet was simply, as a journalist, I was putting myself in the heads of the NFL executives, starting with Roger Goodell.
As a journalist.
Who are having to figure out on the fly what to do here. And I stated the glaringly obvious, which is that no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game. This is right in the middle of the vortex of this situation when it was unclear what they were going to do with the game.
Who's in charge of their graphics? Like, this shit is fucking everywhere. Like, every time like they try and move Skip, like, am I doing it? Like, I'm trying to talk and move graphics at the same time because, yeah, they just brought up his tweet and it's cut in half on a little square and he's over on this square. But by God, we got to make sure we still have Skip and Shannon right in the dead center with their little pose here. Like, like, it's bizarre the way they framed this.
Season that with a game of this magnitude, it's very difficult to postpone it. Yet the end of my tweet was,
I'm even seeing somebody's mouse on the YouTube video. My mouse is the big green one. They have the little white one.
For the first time in the history of the NFL, my point was it was all rendered irrelevant by what was happening on the football field in front of all those football players, those gladiators,
and
those warriors.
He does bring up a point, though. Like, he is being a journalist. Like, that is something that is going to come out eventually. Like, as far as a journalist goes, yeah, like, okay, what happened to Damar was unbelievably tragic. What do we do about that game? Like, and I understand, like, everybody in that moment is freaking out. Like, oh my God, all that matters is him. Okay, like I respect that, but as a journalist, I am supposed to try and put myself in the heads of what the higher ups are thinking. Like if we all just sat around and commiserated, nothing would ever come up. Like, let's talk about it. This is our opportunity. Like, where are we going with this? So yeah, even though his tweet came off very poorly, I mean, yeah,
he got 155 million clicks.
Got a lot of views, and now here we are. We're trying to figure out what is going on. And T_______. He in the chat is saying fantasy football finals are fucked. I had somebody.
Yeah, you're talking to him. I'm in the fucking championship.
I had two people that were playing for the third place prize money. They each had one had Josh Allen's, one had Stephon Diggs, and the one who was losing had a 71% chance of winning. Because, I think he was down by 5, and if one guy has Diggs and one guy has Allen, you'd assume Allen's going to cover that 5-point spread. But since he didn't, they just split the money 50-50, which is like, I get it. And like I even said, hey, if you're projected to win 71%, 71-29. They didn't want to do that, though.
That's a good idea.
So, yeah, they split that money. My fantasy championships, I was in 2. I won the first one because Mike Evans had a fucking game.
Oh,
dude,
nice.
the Buccaneers finally figured it out a little bit, and I knew it. They hovered around shitty until it was playoff time, and now playoff Brady is here. Here we go. Like they're probably playing the Cowboys in the opening round, and Tom Brady at home in Tampa, and the Cowboys are going to go there. And that's what it looks like right now. The Cowboys can win the NFC East, shockingly. If the Cowboys win on Sunday and the Eagles lose to the Giants, the Cowboys will win the NFC East, which is so bizarre to think about. But I won the Hambino League, and then in my league at work, I was in I brought this up last week. I was playing against a guy he had scored like 150 the previous 3 weeks, but he had Devontae Adams. So I'm thinking, you're fucked. You have Devontae. Devontae's not even going to play this week because Jared Stidham's the new quarterback. Devontae was amazing. 2 touchdowns, all the points in the world. And Justin Jefferson didn't score a touchdown, I don't think, in Minnesota. What a shitty performance. So I won one, lost one. Things happen.
They happen.
What was your spread? How much were you down by?
Malachi Black says Doc sucks. Vleeties' first round exit is coming. Put Cooper Rush in the game.
It's rush week, baby. We'll see what happens. I think that the Cowboys are in for a rude awakening. Green Bay making the playoffs is probably going to happen. They got to beat Detroit on Sunday night, and if they do, I could definitely see Green Bay just fucking going for it.
So I had T. Higgins, and I'm down by 18, but he was projected for fucking 16.
Oh, so you were like on the cusp.
Like right there.
Yeah, and he had that one big play that ended the game. So like that was like he was making positive momentum.
But he's scored in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
He was set to fucking go off, dude.
He's been playing really well lately. So look, for what and I think that's gonna be what happens, I think. Just a no contest. They're just gonna call that game a wash. And they're not going to have a win, a loss, or a tie on their records. It's just, hey, no contest. That game ended in a way that none of us could have predicted. Because if you make that decision or make that call, who does that hurt the most? Like not hurt the most. If I could be Skip Bayless for a minute, like which playoff team is most affected by that? Is that like if you're the Chiefs, are you upset that you had
so? What are they going to give them a tie?
No, you give them nothing. You give them a no contest. They have the same record they had going into that game. That game never happened.
They're just one game short.
They're just one game short. They're going to play a 16-game season. Everyone else had to play 17.
Well, let's look at the standings. So the Bills are clearly it has no fucking
like the Bills.
So
the Bills won the AFC. Like they won their AFC. What is that? East. So, like, I think they're going to be fine. I do think that they're fine. But
Bengals are only 1 game ahead of the Ravens.
So that's what I mean. Like that, they're probably the one team, right? Because if the Bengals had lost that game, and I don't know if they.
Well, no. Here, it doesn't. Well, the only thing it might affect is the seeding because the Bills and the Chiefs have Do they both get a first round bye?
It's just one team's getting a first round bye. We have 7 teams making the playoffs now, so the 1 seed is more coveted now than ever. So maybe
then that does matter because the Chiefs are 13-3.
So the Bills probably need that win, right?
He hate me says no more parlay to glay for the rest of the season.
There should be a dog lay, actually, now that you're saying that. We should put one together. Well, we don't know.
So they could have tied it.
So the Bills could have been 13-3. Their conference record would have been 9-2. The Chiefs' conference record would be 8-3. So yeah, they probably would want to win that game because then they would. So
they would get they would get the fucking first round.
So to them, it probably matters a lot. This game, if you give them a tie, I think that would make them 8-2-1 in conference play. Then if I'm the Chiefs, I'm upset. Like, well, they didn't even finish that game, and they were losing. And you gave them a tie, so there's got to be a way to squeeze a game in on a Thursday or something, right? Like, how are they going to do this? Or is there going to be some sort of weird after Week 18, some sort of Wednesday or Thursday game before the playoffs? But if you're
is this week regular season still?
Yeah, this is the final week. This is Week 18. Like, we're in it. Or 18, 19, whatever it is now, because we got the 17th game, Week 18.
Dude, fuck, I don't know. If they weren't in contention for first place, and they're just a playoff team, then your seeding gets fucked up. But dude, knocking you out of winning the conference,
yeah,
I don't know. That's kind of a big deal.
If you're Chief, maybe just rearrange the schedule for next week. Chiefs and Bills, winner's the 1 seed. Like, just change the entire schedule at that point.
Just change everything.
Well, because the Chiefs are scheduled to play the Raiders. Now, no offense to the Raiders, but like, that game isn't important. Like, you can move the Chiefs to play somebody else.
But they could go off again. Fuck the Chiefs. The Bills could win, and the Bills win. That's
true. Yeah, they have to put that game in somewhere. Where would you put it, though? You can't put. Do you put it on a Saturday and then say, "Hey, you guys are playing tomorrow"? Like, can they expect that
just
kind of a
doubleheader?
Or maybe do a Friday game and then a Monday turnaround?
Dude, I know what they do. You set up a Madden game with exactly where they left off and just let it play.
Sim it and see what the Madden people do for that.
And run it like 10,000 times.
Put the blame on them at that point. So that was a really huge.
Or is it the opposite? You only run it once because that's how the NFL works.
Maybe it's 7-3, and we bring in like 2 college teams to play, and like Buffalo gets to use University of Buffalo, Cincinnati gets University of Cincinnati, and those 2 teams just go for it. Like, okay, we're representing Cincinnati, baby. We got to get this shit handled. That way, no starters get hurt, and the game still counts. Plus, it's like a bowl game at that point.
How about they set up its overtime rules with the current score?
I would watch that. I don't know.
It's just sudden death.
Logistically,
and it lasts like 20 minutes.
Logistically, I'm sure that would be frustrating for the teams. They're like, we're going to fly all the way there to do this fucking charade. I don't know how. Or do you give it to the Bengals? They were winning. They were winning 7. They were winning 7-3. And hey, the game
that fucks the Bills.
That does fuck the Bills. I don't know how they're going to pull that off.
And it puts the
Malachi Black says maybe let TCU and Georgia decide it.
That's true. Maybe one team like bets, like they flip a coin, or maybe since Cincinnati was winning, they pick like, we're going to pick Georgia, and then the Bills are going to be pulling for TCU so hard to win that game because that would count as a victory for. They're going to have to do something silly. There's no way
because
right?
Dude, if you give the Bengals a win and the Bills a loss, then they're tied in the conference, and they have a chance to win next week, and the Chiefs lose and they win.
Real Kevin Nash even put in the chat what I think is probably what they should do. Swap the Bills and the Patriots game, Raiders and Chiefs. Have the Pats and the Raiders play one more time. And then you have the Chiefs and the Bills play for the 1 seed. And, I mean, that would be a fucking great pivot.
But if the Bengals would have won, they would have been tied for second. So why did the Bills get second seed?
That is true. Shit.
It's that close.
Well, no, if the Bengals...
It is.
If the Bengals would have...
Skip was right. Skip was right. How are we going to figure this out?
If the Bengals would have won, the Chiefs would be 13-3. So you still got to give the Bengals a way to maybe leapfrog because they would have been 12-4. The Bills would have been 12-4. So if you have 2 12-4,
and then the Chiefs lose, no, they're 13. Oh yeah, and the Bengals and Bills win, then they're all tied.
Oh my god!
At 13-4.
This is fucking so weird to figure out. Maybe make that whole week not count. Everyone. So since they didn't finish, erase that whole week. The Raiders are back in it, and
Now, you refund everybody's bets?
no. I mean, hey,
Do we run back fantasy too?
when we don't run anything back, like it doesn't. The game will not count. They're just gonna have to count them at whatever they have. That's what TK thinks. It'll be fascinating to see what they decide to do. Like if they just go with, hey, it's gonna, because there's no wrong answer either. I think that's kind of what, there's no wrong and there's no right answer. Like everything we've said is something that could happen. They could just say, hey, ties. We're calling that a tie. Like I said, no contest. Like they can just say, yeah, we're gonna give everyone a tie for that. It's a no contest. Give them a tie, and that's just everything's gonna be settled in week 18. And that could be what they do, or they could say Bengals were up, Bengals win. Which
here's the
that one might be a little worse.
This isn't even about this game, but NFL betting rules for canceled, delayed, and postponed games. Unless the game is finished within the same week it was played, then all bets are off. Canceled.
Oh, so they gotta finish it. Is it calendar week or does it roll?
The same scheduling week. I don't know what that means.
So that would have to mean it's
Sunday to Sunday. Maybe?
Yeah, it still takes place in week 18.
So next month. That's even worse.
Like let's say they play on a Friday, and then let's say they play week 18 games on a Friday, and then they do like a weird playoff in game until.
But it was the Monday night game. That's the last night of the week.
But that's what I mean. Like if they put that game on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, like there's no game this Thursday. They're all. Is there Saturday games this week?
Yeah, because the national championship's next week, right?
It's on Monday, so maybe they put another game on Tuesday. Maybe they have to put.
But the league week starts on Tuesday.
Oh, that's true. Well, then I don't know.
Monday is the last day of the NFL week.
I don't know. So yeah, everybody lost their money. That's
Skip
it.
was right, dude.
Skip was right.
Uncancel Skip. He needs to figure this out.
Uncancel Skip. He's sorry. Give him a break, everybody. But Geezy, we had to get together for this, and we're obviously on the side of praying for Damar Hamlin. Like you don't want to see that happen to any 24-year-old dad out there just doing his thing. Probably his whole life was to make it to the NFL, and to watch him collapse on the field like that is horrific. And you got to think, you got to think of his family and how they were all there. That also makes it sad. Like his whole family was there to watch, and I mean, it really is rough. But any final words on the whole situation before we ride off into the sunset?
Prayers up, like you said.
Yeah, prayers up to Damar Hamlin. We're praying for you. We really are, and I know that we had some fun tonight talking about COVID vaccines, and which honestly still a huge possibility. I don't know why we're not allowed to talk about it. Like.
And steroids, please.
You conspiracy theorist. Like, you know what? Maybe you should be a conspiracy theorist. You wouldn't get a cardiac event like Triple H. That's the other one. I tell people that whenever people ask about Triple H, why doesn't he wrestle anymore? It's like he had a cardiac event, which is Vince McMahon's.
So did J.J. Watt. Don't forget.
That's everybody's way of like, yeah,
he had an arrhythmia, which is what happened here.
Isn't that when, like, don't you get born with that? That doesn't just develop, does it?
Oh, you can. You get that from drinking too much.
And
then you got to get shocked back.
J.J. Watt doesn't drink, okay? Real Kevin Nash. Restart the game with Pro Bowl rules. Just do a skills event to decide the winner of this one. So
a no contest. Dude. 9-man?
Just
flag football?
Do some flag football. Touch him up a little bit.
No injuries?
We'll have to see what they do. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. So let's take a quick break.
It seems like there's all wrong answers to this one.
Everything I've said has been the wrong answer. There's no correct. Yeah, that's probably more accurate. There is no correct answer to this whole situation. Like, it's sad. It's really unfortunate. And yeah, there are journalists like Skip Bayless who are trying to figure out what is the next step. Like, what do we do? How, and can we not at least talk about it? Are we not allowed to talk about it? Like, I'm now here we are. A day after it happened, and yeah, we just talked most of the time about what are they going to do? Like, we have no idea what the NFL is going to do. And he is a journalist. He has been covering the NFL for 50 years. So it is kind of his job to think forward like that. But of course, in that moment, you're sick. How could you even think about football? Which, yeah, that's also, I can see where people are coming from with that. But let's ride off into the sunset, Geezy. Like I said, next week, it's 9 p.m. Central Standard. So you and I are going to record, probably not live. We'll do a record sesh, maybe a Thursday or something. We'll figure out a time, maybe a weekend. That way we can just be chill, kids in bed, or even kids like just running around. We'll figure it out when we get there. But thank you so much for joining me tonight. I think we covered it all, right?
I mean, there were so many headlines, but I think we got the important ones.
We didn't even talk about California becoming a sanctuary state for trans kids, but that'll be another 2 hours. We gotta get to Gino. We gotta talk Wrestle Kingdom and Impact
We can't
Wrestling.
do that and vaccine conspiracies in the same episode.
Spotify would not allow this episode to be put up there. They
FBI will be at our front door.
They would put tags everywhere. Even my DuckDuckGo, even they would turn my information over. They would like, no, this is the guy. This is the guy. You're allowed to cancel him. I don't even know how he's on Twitter. He's not allowed on that website. So people are going to tweet the F word at him. So let's hit this button here to play a song and let's ride off. Geezy, thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night. Good night from tonight.